we look at the forgotten cuts among the Meisterhaeue.
This is the Kitsune clan, a group of sword enthusiasts who like cosplay, reenactment, and historical martial arts. If you have similar interests, feel welcomed.
We have recently looked at the German Meisterhaeue or mastercuts. We have recognized that there are 6 of these. The Schielhau, the Krumpau, and the Zwerchhau are all performed with the short edge of the sword. The Scheitelhau, the Zornhau, and the other Zwerchhau are all performed with a long edge. Now we need some additional cuts to make our flourishes, our drills, and whatsoever a bit more complete. It is well known that the 2 Zwerchhäue can be performed in fast succession. This strategy has gotten the horrible term Zwergkopter, which is a very inappropriate description. What it means is a fast succession of striking with the long edge and with the short edge while the blade rotates in the level in which the edges are oriented. This gives us a series of horizontal strikes, at minimum 2, but we can of course continue this succession and add more of these strikes. As we've seen, Schielhau and one of the Zwerchhäue are very similar in overall movement. We should therefore expect that the same can work for the Schielhau, meaning we have a strike from above and then a counteracting motion with a strike from below. The Schielhau hits with the short edge, the strike from below hits with the long edge. Again, we can make several of these strikes, not only 2. If this works for the Schielhau, this should also work for the Scheitelhau. We can simply go on the other side of the body, hit with the Scheitelhau with the long edge, and then strike from below with the short edge. Again, we can make several of these strikes in fast succession. Now we can combine this into a flow. We do a Scheitelhau and continue the strike so that the blade comes to the left body side. From here we perform a Schielhau, then a strike from below, then again a Schielhau, but this time we don't take back the blade, we continue so that the blade comes to the other side of the body, to the right side. From here we perform a Scheitelhau followed by a strike from below, this time with a short edge, and again a Scheitelhau, but this time again going to the other side, closing the flow. Whether we use change steps for correcting the orientation of the blade or simply twist the hip, doesn't matter, that's a matter of taste. Now in this flow we have a Scheitelhau followed by a Schielhau, and the 2 differ in angle as we perform it in the flow, but it is possible to perform both in the same angle from the same direction, following after each other. That allows us to have 2 strikes from the same direction, once with the long edge and once with the short edge. We can also do that on the other side. So first performing a Schielhau and then letting follow a Scheitelhau. Depending on the exact execution, the Scheitelhau could also be a Zornhau and the Schielhau could also be a Krumpau. That means we could, for example, use this combination to strike away the blade of an opponent and attack from the same direction from which we just moved away his blade. This makes strategically sense because we cleared this area in order to strike in. As we before transferred a concept from the 2 Zwerchhäue to Schielhau, Scheitelhau or Zornhau, Krumpau, we can now redirect this whole thing. We take now this principle from Schielhau, Scheitelhau and transfer it to the Zwerchhau. That means we can make first a horizontal strike with the long edge, then turn the weapon around and strike from the same direction with the Zwerchhau with the short edge. It's also possible in the other direction. First make a horizontal cut with the short edge, turn it around into a Zwerchhau and strike with the long edge. From this we can derive another flow. We can make a horizontal cut, then we perform 3 Zwerchhäue, then a horizontal cut into the other direction, and then again 3 Zwerchhäue. We have now added horizontal strikes and before upward strikes to fill up our flourishes, our flows. Yet that's not it. There are more strikes possible in thumb hold that are often overlooked. If you cut through with a Zwerchhau, you can also reverse this motion and cut with the other side that you just used. This may appear unusual, still it's a functional horizontal cut. This means we can in principle perform 3 horizontal cuts in a row. One very twisted one, basically the reverse of a Zwerchhau, then a normal, so to say, horizontal cut, and then the true Zwerchhau from that side. Then we can reverse the whole thing. It's not necessary to go through the entire sequence. It's also possible to use the reverse Zwerchhau and then directly go into a Zwerchhau. It's also possible to combine only 2 of these that are adjacent to each other. So the reverse Zwerchhau and the normal horizontal cut, or the normal horizontal cut and the normal Zwerchhau. What these cuts show us is that we probably underestimate how many angles of cutting are possible with a German longsword held in thumb hold. Most people are aware of the diagram in Meisterhaeue book where you have 8 angles drawn. These are very similar to the 4 angles in Filipino martial arts, plus the horizontal and the vertical line in 2 directions, summing up to 8. But if we are aware of the way we can cut with the long edge and the short edge in different directions, we come to many more cuts than 8 of them. In principle, we have a lot of cuts that come from the same angle. We just looked at it for the horizontal strikes. We have at least 3 different cuts that can come from the same angle. For what do we need these? They give us more options in the flows, but very important, they also differ in distances. So the reverse Zwerchhau, for example, has a rather short distance compared to the normal horizontal cut. It may therefore be useful for training to talk of the 5 Meisterhaeue, but we already pointed out it's at least 6, and for effectively combining them into longer sequences, we need quite some more cuts. We will provide additional videos in the future where we further explore in which specific situations some of these maybe awkward appearing cuts can be used effectively. But for the moment, hope we could inspire you. See you around next time.